Good morning, Potters. Another beautiful sunny day. Day 16, I think. Eventually I'm going to lose track. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. I've got these circles, these discs that I made. That's going to be a Moon Phases wall hanging piece. And these have not been bisque fired yet. These are just greenware. I'm going to attempt a once fire raku fire. So in other words, normally for raku you would bisque fire first, then glaze it, then raku fire it. These are just greenware. I'm going to go ahead and put the glaze on there, let them dry in the sun for a bit, and then go immediately to a raku fire. So it's a little bit riskier, obviously, because if something that has glaze on it explodes in the kiln, then the glazed pieces are more likely to fuse to the kiln itself, cause some damage. But if it's going to explode, if things are going to shatter and explode and crumble or whatever, that's going to happen at a much lower temperature than the glaze is going to actually start to melt. So as long as I keep an eye on the kiln, then it should be okay. The other thing is that raku firing is generally lower than what I would do for a bisque fire for earthenware. But for this clay, I don't think it's going to matter one way or the other, especially because, you know, this is going to be a decorative piece. It's not going to be something that's going to be to eat off of, you know, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm using, for my glaze, I'm just using baking soda and water. I like the baking soda look because it was kind of a, of the two that I did, the borax and the baking soda, I thought the baking soda was more lunar looking. So two of these, it's going to be a new moon on either side, so it's going to be new moon, then waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, I forget them all now. I'm going to have to look this up on Wikipedia again before I actually start on this. But anyway, the new moon's going to be on either side, full moon's going to be in the middle. Full moon's going to be entirely glazed, so it'll be the least amount of black. The new moons are going to be totally black. So two of these I don't have to glaze at all, because when I pull those out of the hot kiln and put them into the combustibles, they'll turn entirely black. Then the rest of them I'm going to glaze, you know, different portions of them to make different phases of the moon. These beads are going to be spacers in between each of them, and these are just going to be black as well, so don't have to glaze those. Now the pieces that we made yesterday are still drying, so those will not go into the kiln today. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, so I looked it up and made myself a little note. It goes new moon, completely black. Waxing crescent, mostly black. A little bit of white on the, or glazed part on the right. First quarter, it's a half with white on the right and black on the left. Waxing gibbous, mostly glazed, a little bit of unglazed. Full moon, full thing will be glazed. Waning gibbous, third quarter, another half moon. Waning crescent, and then back to the new moon. So I've built up quite a bit of the baking soda on there. I'm gonna have to go back and clean out some of the holes to make sure that I don't accidentally glaze the holes shut like that one, obviously. And I need to let these dry real well because they've absorbed quite a bit of moisture from that glaze, and they need to be bone dry before I put them in the kiln. So I'm gonna let these sit a bit, and then clean them up, and then throw them in the kiln. Upon cleaning these up, you know, I was getting the edges in the bottom, make sure that there was no glaze in the holes, etc. I discovered another reason why I should have bisque fired these first. So doing a once fire with raku, doing a once fire at all, may not be the best idea. But in in all fairness, you know, it's a learning experience. But anyway, I wanted to show you why. The glaze obviously has a lot of water in it because it's just water and baking soda, and you can see that the water on the dry clay causes that clay to expand, and on some of them it's caused let me find the one that was real bad. Yeah, it's caused a bit of cracking. Let's see, you can't really see it now. Hopefully it will be not too bad, but yeah, definitely should have bisque fired these first. There's one of them that was real bad. I don't see it now. I guess it was this one. But anyway, yeah, you can see the crack right there. Maybe. If we can focus. There we go. Crack right there. And down there it's all messed up. So, actually that crack goes all the way up. We'll just have to see how it goes. So I'm going to let those dry out completely and then fire them. So I already have my doubts about this firing because of the fact that I glazed them as greenware rather than bisque firing them. Trying to make sure that nothing is touching anything else that's glazed in here. The unglazed parts can touch each other, so some of them are just leaning against the back. This is a very crowded kiln for a raku firing, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to plug this in. I'm going to leave it propped open a little bit, just to drive off any more moisture that might be in there. After about an hour, I'll close it up. Probably fire it about an hour, maybe up to 2 hours, depending, because because it's so full, it may take longer. It's more thermal mass to heat up, and then we'll have some fun with fire. Well, after less than 15 minutes of drying, it's already a bust. I did not think this through very well, because look, as the baking soda is drying, it's crumbling off, and if I leave that, it's going to fuse to the kiln. So this is already pretty warm. I'm going to have to let it cool off, take everything out, sweep it out to get all that crusty crud out, then put it back in there, but I'm going to have to fire everything flat like these, so I won't be able to fit all of it into one kiln load. So, such is life. Sometimes it doesn't go as planned. I was trying to make this easy, trying to do a once fire. That turned out to be a bad idea. Trying to fire it all in one load turned out to be a bad idea. So, I'm learning lessons here. I'm learning lessons. I'm learning that when you try to take shortcuts, you end up spending more time making up for your mistakes. So, gonna let this cool down, and then no more shortcuts on this one, alright? Okay, after that setback, I have backtracked enough. All the ones that have glaze on them are horizontal so that the glaze won't flake and fall onto the floor of the kiln. The ones that are leaned up back there are the ones that will be just completely black, that have no glaze on them. So I'm going to keep this propped open again because I had to touch up the glaze. That added more water. So keep that open again. And there's a lot more work than I intended. Lesson learned. Come at me, bro. It didn't blacken very much. Had more carbon from pit fire before. This one cracked. Ooh. Okay. Now that is worthwhile. What on earth is going on? These are like iridescent blue and purple. Don't know if that's permanent or not, but wow. Now, the glaze itself did not turn real shiny. It kind of turned bubbly and weird. Maybe I put it on too thick. I don't know, but it's neat looking. And then of course we got a bunch of these beads. That one was still hot. So this one's shiny around the edge, but then black and weird in the middle. Very weird. Very unexpected. Ooh, look at that! Another one of these really cool iridescent colors, but look, a bubble of glaze there. Okay, more beads. Oh, it's pretty neat looking. Not at all what I was attempting to do. Not at all like that one test mouse showed. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There should be 2 more of those. There's one. Yeah. And there's one. Alright. Now, I've got to put the last few pieces in the kiln and wash those up, see what the result is, and then tie string and hang it up. Definitely not going to show moon phases like I had intended. This definitely does not look like a new moon, and that definitely does not look like a full moon. So it won't be what I intended, but it'll be interesting regardless. Ooh, that's neat looking. All right. Well, it took me all day, and just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and all of it was because of me trying to make shortcuts. It did not at all turn out how I imagined it, but I've got to be honest. New moon. Waning crescent? No, waxing crescent. First quarter. Waxing gibbous. The glaze turned out all kind of cratery, which I guess is pretty pretty accurate. There's a full moon, the waning gibbous, that's the, what, third quarter, waning crescent, and then lastly back to new moon. So this is my wall hanging moon phases that took all day, and I'm pretty pleased with it, honestly. I think I might do it again though. I like this one, but I think I can do even better, because I tried to once fire and that was a bad idea because it caused small cracks in some of them. I tried to fill the kiln too much, and then the glaze just flaked off into the kiln. I had to start over again. I had, let's see, is it this one? Yeah, that one I dropped. You can see it's glued together. Some of them have cracks just from the firing, I guess, or from the fact that the clay is not great. So, like I said, about everything that could have gone wrong did, but I learned not to try to take shortcuts. And in the end, I think it worked out pretty well. So I will see you next time, and be well, and don't forget to wash your hands. Bye.